mercury steam baths, secret treatments, a diagnosis so dreaded they called it the French pox. Which royals really had syphilis? And which stories are rumors polished by time? Tonight we climb from possible to confirmed, using an evidence meter. Confirmed when bones or tissue show the disease, probable when multiple strong lines point the same way, contested when scholars actively disagree, and possible treatment when we only see traces of the cure. For the early modern period, diagnosis comes from three places: paleopathology, unmistakable bone changes in late-stage disease, notably caries, sicca in schools; chemistry/toxicology, high mercury in remains, a common antisyphilitic but not proof by itself; documents, letters, accounts, clinical notes, strong but often coded or incomplete. We'll use all three carefully and tell you where the ground is firm and where it moves. Open the Kremlin burials and one signal keeps flashing: mercury. Analyses on the Tsar's circle have shown elevated mercury in hair, bone, or surrounding material. What does that mean? In the 16th century, mercury sat on every apothecary's shelf, rubbed on sores as an ointment, steamed in sweat boxes for the pox, dabbed on skin conditions, swallowed in tiny pills, even used in preservation. With Ivan, we also face a court fond of poison whispers, so the chemistry has multiple explanations. Contemporary notes on his health describe headaches, rages, and decline, but nothing like a clinician's casebook for syphilis. No characteristic bone changes have been presented. No unequivocal doctor's ledger survives saying anti-syphilitic course completed. So the evidence describes treatment possibilities, not the disease itself. On our meter, possible treatment. Takeaway: where mercury did many jobs, the jar alone cannot convict the French pox. Edward IV dies in 1483, not yet 42. The chroniclers are cautious, the court is cagey. Centuries later, a modern rereading of scattered hints proposes syphilis, suggesting it circulated among elites before the famous 1494-95 Naples outbreak. It's an eyebrow raiser because it challenges the usual timeline. Supporters point to veiled phrases in near-contemporary sources and to patterns of sudden illness. Skeptics answer that respiratory infections, embolism, or complications of a hard-lived life fit just as well. There's no exhumation with clear lesions, no physician's daybook describing chancres, rashes, or mercury regimens over years. So we're left with a clever thesis that sharpens the debate, not a verdict that closes it. On our meter, contested. Takeaway: when documents whisper and the bones are silent, honest history keeps the case open. Lorenzo II, ruler of Florence for a brief glittering moment, father of the future Queen Catherine de Medici, dies at 26. Many reputable biographies list syphilis as the likeliest cause, sometimes paired with other strains on a young body. Court gossip at the time linked him to treatment regimens and to the fashionable cures of the day, guaiacum wood and mercury, though we lack a modern lab confirmation. What pushes this into probable is convergence, multiple independent accounts, medical rumors that match what we know of therapy across Italy, and the absence of a stronger, better documented rival diagnosis. We're still careful. No paleopathological paper has stamped it beyond doubt. But if you were betting based on period medicine and elite behavior, this is where your coin lands. On our meter, probable. Takeaway: when sources align and no better explanation fits, probability, not certainty, carries the day. At last, rock-solid ground. Maria Salviati, mother of Cosimo I de' Medici, was exhumed and studied by paleopathologists. Her skull bears the classic caries sicca pattern, moth-eaten, star-shaped lesions formed when late syphilis eats into bone. This isn't a rumor, it's anatomy speaking centuries later. Set that against what we know of Florentine therapy, mercurial ointments, vapor baths, guaiacum decoctions, and the broader picture sharpens. A court living with a chronic, stigmatized disease, doing what medicine then thought wise, leaving hard signs for modern eyes. The significance goes beyond one woman. Maria's case shows how the disease could move along elite family networks, where political marriages spread both alliances and illnesses. On our meter, confirmed. Takeaway: bones don't flatter. When they speak this clearly, the debate ends. The royal mummies from San Domenico Maggiore in Naples gave researchers a rare laboratory, preserved tissue, court identities, and the telltale marks of both disease and cure. In Maria of Aragon, investigators reported signs consistent with treponemial infection and chemical traces, pointing to mercury therapy. That double strike, pathology plus treatment signature, lets us see an entire medical journey: diagnosis suspected, regimen applied, body changed. It also anchors the wider Italian pattern. The French pox penetrated princely households early and deeply. Doctors reached first for guaiacum or mercury. The latter left its calling card for modern chemistry to find. On our meter, confirmed. Takeaway: here the science stacks, lesions and lab, so the case closes with confidence. 2 headline cures chased the pox: guaiacum, the miracle wood, and mercury. Mercury was rubbed, steamed, swallowed. Sometimes it helped, often it harmed. But it also treated other complaints, slipped into cosmetics, and appeared in preservation. That's why we code a simple mercury spike as possible treatment. Useful context, not a guilty verdict. To prove disease, we want bone lesions, diagnostic descriptions, or a combination of multiple lines. Myth: if a royal corpse has mercury, they had syphilis. Reality: maybe, or poisoning, cosmetics, other therapies. Context decides. Myth: syphilis arrived in Europe in 1495. Full stop. Reality: the Naples outbreak made it catastrophic and visible. Earlier European treponemial disease remains debated. Myth: Henry VIII had syphilis. Reality: famous rumor. Surviving notes and therapy patterns argue against sustained syphilis treatment. Gender and silence. Women's remains. Maria Salviati, Maria of Aragon, often tell the story plainly, even when letters are discreet. Treatments chosen by husbands, physicians, and families wrote diagnoses into female bodies. Medicine as theater. Vapor baths, ointments, miracle woods. Rituals that reassured courts. Mercury leaves the loudest trace in labs. Certainty still belongs to bones and clear descriptions. Politics of diagnosis. Royal deaths need usable explanations. When documents are coded and remains are sealed, myths thrive. That's why Edward IV can be argued over today while Maria Salviati cannot. Number 5. Ivan IV. Possible treatment. Mercury signal. Diagnosis unproven. Number 4. Edward IV contested. New readings versus missing clinical proof. Number 3. Lorenzo II de Medici. Probable biographical convergence. No modern bone test. Number 2. Maria Salviati. Confirmed paleopathology. Number 1. Maria of Aragon. Confirmed pathology plus mercury therapy. Mercury jars, secret ledgers, and bones that still speak. If you want more court and body history, tap next. The Tudor Files continue.